Okay, so this is a little tricky. I'm trying to figure out where the camera is on my phone so I'm not looking into space instead of looking directly at you. I think I've got the hang of it now. Okay, so I have promised that I was going to make my delivery video, and yeah, I've been looking like trash and just home kind of just being a bum. So I was just like, okay, whenever I make myself look semi-decent, that I just kind of do the video real quick. And since I had to go into office today, I was just like, okay, I'm home early. Why don't I just make the video since Andre has a baby and I have some time on my hands? So yeah, all right. So where am I going to start? So my due date was November 11th, and I actually gave birth on November 11th, but I was over being pregnant a long before then. If you've been pregnant, you know. Anyway, so my doctor the week before, like 2 weeks before I delivered, my doctor, like on my second to last doctor's appointment, it was my third to last doctor's appointment, my doctor gave me an internal check. What did they call a sweep? Is that what he did when he went in and he was trying to figure out how dilated I was or whatever, and there was lots of bleeding. So well, not a lot, but there was bleeding. So he's like, well, I don't expect to see you at your next visit. You know who turned up at their next visit still very pregnant? Me. I was still very pregnant and I was not happy about it. Anyways, on my due date, I was just like, you know what? I am over this. I don't want to be pregnant anymore. She was getting heavy. I was getting stretch marks, and I was just like, no. I couldn't sleep. I was peeing a lot. I was just over it. So, like a week before that, I was looking up things to induce natural at home. He was like, oh, have sex. I was like, I'm pretty sure sex is not going to do that. Plus, that's a story for a whole different day. I was just like, I don't want to do it. The baby's there, and then there's no. I know it won't actually touch the baby, but it was still kind of weird to me. So I was just really turned off the idea of doing the sexy while I was, that far into it. But whatever. Like I said, story for another day. So I looked up this thing called the Midwife's Brew on YouTube. Look it up. I watched a whole lot of videos of persons making it and drinking it, and everybody said it worked for them. So I was like, you know what? Let me try it. I asked my doctor about it like some weeks before. He's like, no, that's crap. I was just like, okay, see a bit. So I had Andre drive up and down about the pharmacy and locate some castor oil, not the type you put in here, but the type you drink. And I found that, and I mixed that up with some orange juice, and I drank it. I put Shelby on a leash, and I walked up and down the street once. It was in the middle of the day, and the sun was hot, and I was like, no, I don't even want to walk. Like, I was just fat and tired, but I made like one trip up the road and then back, and I came inside, and I was just like, I don't feel anything. But that was just like 5 minutes after. So let's see, around 6 o'clock I started getting contractions. But the thing is, I was feeling those sharp contractions on and off, and it was always just like false alarm because they just kind of fade out. So I was feeling them, and I was just like, you know what, whatever. I don't want to go up to the doctor and then nothing's happening. So I called my doctor. I told him that I was having contractions and they were kind of close together. So he's like, come to the doctor, come to the hospital. And I was just like, fine, I'll go. Call my mother, told her. And then she's like, I'm going to come up there. I'm going to come. I was like, Mommy, it don't make no sense to come because next thing I know, I ain't waste time. Come to the hospital and I have to go back home. Anyways, couldn't tell her nothing because she met us there. She literally took a taxi, come up at the hospital. So I was just like, fine, whatever. So the pain them did start. Like, I'm not telling a lie. Like, they were close and them did hot, but there was nothing. They weren't like to the point where I couldn't bear. Like, they were less. I felt them, and they hurt, but I still wasn't convinced that I was in labor. I was just like, this is not real. Like this. I'm not in labor. Like, it's not happening. I just couldn't fathom the thought of being in labor. Like I knew it had to happen, but it was just like it's just a thing. But whatever. So we'll get so on the way. I'd get them and squeeze a car, whatever. I'm there. So I don't know if you know how you is set up, but like you go and then I was sitting there for a while. They were like, "Oh, sit there," and I was like, "Okay, this is me at the labor ward." And then the lady asked, a nurse came and she's like, "What's your due date?" Told her, blah, whatever. Andre had my bags, and then I think she told, and he went back outside because I think he couldn't stay there. Rona time, so you know how that goes. And so he had my bags, and then she told me to get my bag from him, which he gave to me, and then I had to go into this room across from the pushing room. So I went there and she checked my vitals, blah blah, and then she said she was going to go up and check if I was dilated. Told me I was 4 centimeters. Like, what? 4 centimeters? Me? And I was there for a while. I'd get the contraction. She hooked me up, put my belly on the thing. I could hear the heartbeat, and it was very relaxing to me. I don't know why, but there's something just really soothing about being able to hear my baby's heartbeat constantly. You know, before you go to the hospital, the doctor's office, and you'd hear it, just find it, and 5 seconds, boom, 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 there's the baby's heartbeat, and you're done. I was just there chilling. I could hear her heartbeat. It was strong. It was consistent. I was relaxed. Then she came back and she's like, "I'm going to break your water." Break my water. She's like, "Yeah, take off your clothes." Gail. No, lies. I took off my clothes when I went into the room and went and got into the green thing. Ass out. You know how that goes. And had my clothes folded up on the side of my little underwear and you know that whole shebang. So what happened? Yes, so she's like, "I'm going to break your water." So I was freaking out because I'm like, okay, you're going to break my water, it's going to hurt. The water breaking, not bad. She went up regular, whatever, and she used whatever she used and popped it. I just felt a rush of warm water, just, and I was just like, okay. So I was like, this is it. I just lie here wet, and she's like, "Yeah, until you dilate it some more, and then we'll send you over." So I was like, okay, cool. So I'm lying there, and then the pain, the pain picked up. I was like, okay, I can't do this. I changed my mind. I do not want to labor. Hey, I was like, "Nurse, I changed my mind. Cut it out. Just give me a C-section. Just cut her up, cut her out, and then stitch me up, and then we'll be on our way." She's like, "There's no need for that. You don't want to just push. You'll push now, and then by tomorrow you're walking up and down downtown." I was just like, "No, thank you. I changed my mind. I said I want you to cut her out." My beginners for not. The pain kicked up. I started feeling like I needed to push, and I told her, like, my body's telling me to push. What do I do? She's like, "Don't push. I'm going to give you an enema, and then we're going to send you over to the laboring part." I was like, fine. So, you know how the enema goes. They stick that thing up your butt and flush you out with soap water. And then you have to squeeze your ass, run to the toilet, and shit your tripes out. Just sit. And let me tell you, that was the most comfort I got that night. Sitting on the toilet was the most comforting thing. I don't know, because when I get cramps, I sit on the toilet and I feel it's better. But I was there, I'd poop, and then every time I think I was done, I'd get a little more, and then I get the contractions, and I was just like, okay, I'm just going to sit here. I'm not going to move. I'm just going to sit here. This is where I feel better. Like the pain it just doesn't feel as intense when I'm sitting on the toilet. So the nurse, she just kept coming, and I was just like, I'm not done. She's like, "You can't sit there long." I was like, "Please, I just want to sit a little more." She's like, "You'll have the baby at the toilet. You have to get up. Get up and go bathe. Mother, get up and go bathe." So I was like, fine. Them time in, I meant till I said pain and rock my body, and I was just so convinced that I would not be able to, like, I wouldn't come out of it alive. I was like, I cannot do this. Like, it just felt like an impossible task. Pushing the whole labor experience just felt, it was just so surreal to me. I just didn't think like I'd come out of this alive, like I'd not come out with my baby, or my baby would go home without me. Like I was just convinced something bad had happened, because this whole thing was just, it was super surreal to me. Anyways, they have hot water in the hospital, thank God. So I took a shower. That also felt good because, you know, I was wet from the whole her breast in my water. And then so I bathed, and water, it was warm water, so it felt good. And I was just like, okay, yes, this is not so bad. This is not so bad. So she brought fresh green things for me to put on. And then I had to go over to the pushing section. And trust me, when you go over there, you have to wait to dilate. Like, you have to wait to dilate for hours. Like, depends on how fast you dilate. I guess I dilated fast, but I don't know. Time just went. All I know is I'd get the contractions. I'd scream. Everybody who passed was like, please help me. I said, I can't do this. Every single nurse that passed me, or every time my nurse came back, I'd beg her to cut the baby out or give me something to help. I begged for some pain relief. I don't know how long, but Andre came in there. I asked her, I was like, can he come? She said, yes, fine. He came in there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm not telling you. Because contractions are not normal. Let me tell you, every time I got a contraction laying on that bed, I piss myself. And the nurse said she said she was going to give me something to take the edge off the pain. There's nothing to take the edge off. Unless you're going to take out the epidural, nothing's going to take the edge off. She come in and juke me with bottom with some kind of something. I don't know what it was. It could have been sugar and water for all I care, because nothing helped. Like an hour later, a doctor came in and he checked me, and he's like, oh, what did he say? Almost there. Everybody kept saying, almost there. Every fiber in my being was telling me to push. Everybody was telling me that I'm almost there. Don't push. What was I supposed to do? Let me tell you. I thought I was going to break the handle railing thing off the bed because I was squeezing so hard. The nurse got scratched up. Andre got scratched up. I don't know what I was. Anything I could catch, I was getting squeezed. Some of the time, then, like, I was trying not to push, but I was pushing because my body was saying, girl, push. I don't know how to explain that. It was just a natural urge to push. So I don't understand them saying don't push when my body's like, girl, push. So it was just that constant struggle, and I tried to push. So instead of pushing, I'd squeeze. And every squeeze, I'd pee. I'd just squeeze and I'd pee. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I can't do this. And then when the contraction eased up, like I was tired. So by this time, I was like, what? Probably, let's say I went in there. I got there probably, I'd say around 8 o'clock. Because I started having contractions from 6 in the daytime. I got there about 8 o'clock. And probably like after 11 or so, yeah, I was tired. If you know me, you know 7:30, 8 o'clock, that's my bedtime. 11 o'clock, I'm laboring. I'm contracting. And I'm tired, so the contraction would ease, and I kind of pass out for a little bit. Like, it wasn't even like a doze off, it's like a pass out, like, and then the contraction hit me, and I'd be like, Let me tell you, my mother told me that she could hear me from downstairs, because every time I got that contraction, everybody knew. I could not help it. It was just the worst pain ever, to the point where when the nurse actually came in and told me if I could start pushing felt orgasmic to me. Like, it was a bit like pushing was, and then pushing was another thing. So I was finally getting to push. She's like, you say one push, come push now. First of all, they don't strap your legs in. So you basically have to, just like, have your legs, both of them. Like, I can't do that right now because, yeah. So you have both of your legs up like that. Your arms locked around them. So you're holding your legs up like this and pushing. And then she's like, big push, hold your breath and squeeze. And I hold my breath and I push, but then I have to breathe. So I stop. And she's like, the baby's head is right there. You just need to push it. Andre's above me. He's like, David. He's like, I see your head, David, and just push some more. And I'm getting so mad at him because he's like, I tell us somebody want the epidural. And he's like, it's a waste of money. I don't think you should do it. Everybody else was like, Girl, you can't do it. Just put you down in the epidural. That's gonna waste your money, which is expensive. It's like $188,000 for an epidural. Yeah, not much we want to get into that. Anyways, so my customer tell me I don't want to do this. Somebody want the epidural, and I say, okay, I can't do this. I'm gonna cut her out, and then my mother, you can't do it. Push. One, me hear the doctor, the nurse lady voice. I say, you cannot kick me in the breast, and I don't want to say, don't kick the nurse. I said, clearly, I'm not trying to kick her on purpose. I'm not trying to kick her on purpose. I'm in pain. Man, I don't know. The whole thing was a blur. All I know is I push, squeeze. And every minute the mic comes and says, the head was right there. Every time you stop, the baby head go back up. I was like, okay, but I'm not trying to send her head back up. I'm trying to push, but this shit hurts and I need to breathe. So it's either I breathe or I push. Like, give me some time. So I take my deep breath and I'd push and I'd squeeze. Finally, the baby come out. I never hear nothing, but just know somebody hear something about meconium or whatever, and they rushed off with her, and I passed out. Something about placenta. I don't even know when they deliver my placenta. I was out. All I know is sometime later, somebody come in and said the baby, and they kind of pushed her to the side right there. They put her beside me and looked at her, and then I closed my eyes. And I don't know how long I was. Probably a couple of minutes. I don't think it was that long. Probably, I'd say half or the most that I slept. And then a doctor and nurse came in and she's like, okay, you got a tear, we're going to have to stitch you up. Alright, we just push one baby. I'm going to tell you, Anna need me on fire. Like, them saying a feeling after. You're not feeling a contraction, so that's good. But down there is... Let's say I got to do what now? So me. Oh, she's going to know.